All right, we are back here on the baseball beat, talking baseball here. Will Stein too distraught about this Mets loss, so he cannot join us today. So joining me, the Yankee half of baseball beat, the much happier Anthony Sorbellini. Anthony, how are you?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
Pretty good. I have to say, my season's been cooked for a while. The Yankee one, I swear, has been such a roller coaster this year. It's literally absurd.
You know, I was I kept talking to myself and the those in my house and everything like that. Like I kept having echoes of our last baseball beat when, we were like the Yankees are going to be one of those teams to where they're going to go, they're going to do really well and you're going to hate it. And you saw that with the 13 game win streak. He was like, "Oh, there's a chance." And then right after that 13 game win streak, I think they were 3-7 in their last 10 or something abysmal like that, that basically wiped away everything they
Yeah.
just did. And a roller coaster is definitely the lightest way to put it.
At least now you're going up on the roller coaster, though. Again, that's helpful.
Yeah, hopefully that's a big sweep, coming out of Boston, but and then headed to Toronto. Or are they home? I can't remember.
Yeah, they're going to, Toronto.
They're going to Toronto. Okay, so yeah. But yeah, I hate to say it. With this team, especially, it's kind of been a story of the week. It's kind of what team's going to show up this week, what guys are going to show up this week. It's never been really too consistent. Like we echoed the last baseball beat, and also with these, 13 game win streaks or just little game win streaks that they put together or winning series. It's sometimes they'll, put up 7, 8, 9, 10 runs, and then other times they can't hit a ball off a tee.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting.
Yeah, I think this Red Sox series is obviously massive for them. And I think the thing I took away from it, I don't know if you agree with me, is that this was the series that finally, and I hate the cliche, Giancarlo got his pinstripes. He had 3 homers, 10 RBIs, and all those homers were in big spots. Not like he was just tacking on when they were up a big. I mean, he hit the grand slam Saturday, the 2-run homer Sunday when they were building the 8th inning rally. I mean, Giancarlo murdered the Red Sox series.
Yeah, that's kind of what, everybody was thinking when they brought him in. It's just to have him finally be consistent in those spots to where it's not just, oh, a series here, a series there, to where he does it an entire series, especially a team that they most likely could be playing in that wild card game, depending on this Toronto series coming up. So to see him, seeing the ball well at Fenway, everything like that, it's a good sign. Yeah, especially him with that 1-2 punch with Judge, and then just everybody else in that lineup. I mean, I know we definitely talked about it on the preseason baseball beat that this team could beat you up pretty much anywhere when they're hot and healthy.
Yeah, for sure. And people don't really understand how much Stanton has done this year. I feel like he always gets like bad, like whenever the team's gone, like, oh, like Stanton sucks. We can't have Stanton. His contract's ruining us. But shooting 277 here, 34 homers and 93 RBIs. Yeah, that and what Aaron Judge has done, what Garrett Cole has done. There are times you sit there, you look at this, I'm like, how is this team like fighting for its playoff lives? Those three giving you dominant performances like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to say this team's been under the radar because it is the Yankees. There's always under a constant microscope, but those three guys you alluded to are kind of having under the radar type seasons, and that's not diminishing, the rest of the team for a sense. But Judge has put up, I heard some people saying like MVP type numbers, but I wouldn't go that far. But Judge is having a fantastic season. Stanton's kind of had, I mean, with Stanton, you're going to get the strikeouts, right? So you kind of have to take that with with what you will. But to see, he's hitting with 30 plus home runs, 90 plus RBIs, he's doing what you brought him in to do. And Garrett Cole, yes, he's had his little rough stretches here and there, but that's definitely a couple things to keep notice on. But other than that, and also too with injuries and everything with COVID and all that, guys have been coming in, slotting in right, good and everything. It's just the biggest thing is they're not consistent.
Yeah, I also think Aaron Judge has major tough guy points for dislocating a pinky slide, having it pop right back in and staying for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, Judge is literally the consummate, Jeter-esque. He's not gonna. He'll do whatever he can.
Yeah. I think this series is massive to them because now they go to Toronto up a game in the States. They're like winning the series with the Red Sox would have been good enough because you would have said, okay, made the ground up. But now they are in that first wild card spot. They have a 1-game cushion. Boston has a very easy week this week against Baltimore and Washington. This
Mhm.
Toronto series is massive for the Yankees, and they're up 2 games. So, honestly, winning one is very important here. But if they can win this series, I think they're pretty much a mortal lock to go to the playoffs. I don't think Seattle is going undefeated this week.
No, Seattle is definitely, I think, they're out of that picture. There was a chance, before everything happened, but Seattle kind of dipped down quite a bit. But this Blue Jays series, regardless if the Yankees make the wild card, which I'm optimistic they will, I think their season is basically made through, this Toronto series. So much can happen in a one game wild card, but if you have to get in it first. So to see, everything that they've gone through and to still be in that position, especially because a lot of people or some people definitely picked the Toronto to be up there in the AL East, may possibly to even win it. But it's just going to be a very difficult series. I think they'll definitely get one, but as key as it is, they need to win that series.
Yeah, and you look at the pitching matches up at the top of the show here. I mean, Toronto has the 3 guys lined up in there you want if you're a Toronto fan. You got Young Jin-Ryu tomorrow. You got Jose Barrios against Cole on Wednesday. And then you have Robbie Ray, your AL Cy Young frontrunner on Thursday. And the Yankees have Cole in there, yes. And then Kluber, who's been up and down in terms of durability. And Jameson Taillon coming off the injured list to pitch in that series. So I get having Cortez and Monty in Boston was helpful. But the Yankees clearly are not the pitching edge in the series right now.
No, and that's kind of been their MO pretty much all season. They really didn't have the pitching. You knew the thing that was going to carry this team is the offense. And if this team is producing just like they did in Boston, they're going to easily average 5+ runs a game. So if they can just get that key hitting, that timely hitting, I think they'll be well off. If they can just get a solid, I would say 5 to 6 of 1 run, maybe 2 run starts from their starting pitchers, excluding Cole, because Cole can pretty much go the distance at any given time. But the big thing is you got to get that offense up and rolling. And coming out of Boston, headed to Toronto, that was kind of a great exclamation point to build momentum for this series.
Yeah, in terms of Toronto's offense too, like you're not winning these games scoring like 5 runs against the Blue Jays because they just can mash the baseball regardless of who's in there. So I think these games will be high scoring.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, especially if that first game tonight, if it wasn't like a 8-6 something victory like that or something around those lines.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And the Toronto series is important, but obviously people also kind of forget about this one. But Tampa's coming in here over the last week of the season to finish out their regular season. Tampa, we know at that point they should have home field American League wrapped up here. I mean, they're up like 5 games on Houston as of the beginning of the week, and take a couple wins, couple losses from the Astros, make that happen. But at the same time here, like, do you think Tampa's going to try and get themselves up for this series, try and knock the Yankees out? I think they're more concerned about, hey, we get the wild card in a week. Let's make sure everybody's healthy when we get there and not like burn our pitchers out, stuff like that.
I don't know. It depends, especially because regardless of, knocking the Yankees out and everything too, just home field advantage is such a big factor that I don't think a lot of people really take into too much account. It's definitely going to help, if you're going into a series, you're going to be in home field advantage. But then, of course, it all depends on how much rest, everything you want to get your guys, how healthy everybody is heading into the end of this week and then heading into playoff play. So it's going to be very interesting, especially because they'll most likely want to knock out the Yankees and play spoiler or something like that. But I think above all, they're going to make sure their guys are healthy because they've already clinched the AL East. They're going to make sure, hey, we can make a deep playoff run again, just like last year.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, going into the week, the Yankees playoffs are about 81%, which makes sense because like they're up. They have 3 home games against a team that may not be playing for much. They have a decent shot against Toronto here, and they control their own fate. So I'm assuming here, let's play the math game. Let's say they get in. Like, would you rather deal with the Red Sox? Would you rather deal with Toronto? Like, which one would you rather see?
That's a really tough question. I've been thinking about this ever since you sent me the rundown because I really don't know. It's almost like a coin flip. I guess at this point in time, I would say the Red Sox since they're coming off of a sweep, just simply how they played. Especially because the Blue Jays, they could all of a sudden just start smacking home runs left and right. And all of a sudden you can be looking at, 3-run deficit, 4-run deficit. The Red Sox, in a sense, they do have those power guys, but not like Toronto. I think the Red Sox are more of a small ball type team this season. And those home runs, kind of been the Yankee killer.
Yeah. Yeah. Toronto would scare the living daylights out of me because their lineup, you mentioned, so deep. And like they have all these guys having monster years. Like Marcus Semien, Vlad Jr., I think should be the AL MVP. You have like Bo Bichette. Like the list goes on and on and on. They have so many guys who can murder you. And I mean, Teoscar Hernandez, like they have so many deep guys and give the Yankees fits all year long, whereas the Yankees have gotten the Red Sox number of late.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just, the Yankees are coming off a big sweep off the Red Sox. So, granted, yes, they play each other, 19 times a season or
Yep.
something like that, so they're used to them, but also just having to see them, a week ago, because the wild card game will be played
Tuesday.
next Tuesday. Yeah. So it'll basically be, a little over a week. So they'll have pretty much everything fresh right in their minds.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, underrated factor for the Yankees here, if you do get in, you need to make sure you have things wrapped up for Sunday because you do not want to have to be burning Garrett Cole on short rest to make sure you get into the wild card game. That would be a big problem.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call it a complete wash because for some reason, call it the clutch gene, call it whatever you want to call, but when those guys, they play in that one game wild card, right? Big game, some guys tend to step up a lot more than others. But it would definitely be nice to have Cole on the mound for that one game playoff.
Yeah, because you're looking at it like obviously if you're in a spot in 160 where you have to win, you pitch him and get yourself in there and worry about it later. But like the idea of potentially dealing with like Toronto with either Nestor Cortez or Jordan Montgomery as your starter is very scary.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's what you got Cole for.
Yeah.
That's why you went out and spend the money. So, but we'll see how things play out, and hopefully we don't, the Yankee fans like myself, we don't have to see that moving forward.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I talked at the top of the show. I feel like apart from the AL wildcard race, there's not a lot going on because this last week of the regular season it really has like me interested here. It's like, is there anything that you are keeping your eye on? Is like from abroad and say this I'm interested in and see what happens this week.
Yeah, I mean, you said it pretty much. Things are kind of locked up. I mean, it was kind of just been really no close division races. I guess you could say the NL West with the Dodgers and the Giants. But I want to watch St. Louis, what they're doing right now. I believe they won 16 in a row yesterday.
Yep. Devil magic.
I just want to keep seeing how long they can go. And I mean, I know I picked them to pick to win the Central. And, just to see them go, just kind of what they were capable of doing, when you bring in these guys that they have, it's pretty much an star-studded lineup. So to see them finally produce at this key time right now it's going to be fun to watch.
Okay, I have two things I'm watching. One is selfish for me because I'm in the over/under situation. I need the Royals to win 3 games. I hit that over. That's otherwise I have a chance of losing the over/under. So this could at least force a draw, which I'm rooting for that. But on a big picture, I think the NL West race is it. I think you look at the NL West race. I mean, the Giants have 102 wins. The Dodgers have 100. Whoever loses that is going in the 1-game playoff against the Cardinals. And I know whichever team that gets in there is better, but I kind of want the Dodgers to be in there because I want to see them have to deal with the 1-game, like do or die game, face the Cardinals and see if they can overcome this because I think that would be fascinating.
Yeah, it would because the Dodgers, coming off the World Series win last year, and even before that, they've dominated that division for what
7 years.
7 years. Yeah, I mean, so to see them, especially with a lineup like that, coming off of a World Series victory, and then you keep adding all these new pieces to be into the 1-game wild card is crazy, especially, playing the hottest team in baseball right now in the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up right now who the Dodger rotation is, see where everybody lines up in this because obviously they have a playoff berth wrapped up already. I just want to see like who they could potentially be throwing in that wild card game because you would think like Scherzer or Buehler are probably your top 2 candidates right now, depending on where they line up in the rotation this week.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely if they're able to, it's going to be Scherzer throwing that game.
Yeah, because it looks like right now Scherzer pitches on Wednesday this week, so he would be in full rest a week out. Bueller pitches on Sunday against Milwaukee, but they know they're in the wild card game. I think they would just scratch him to save him for that wild card game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they'll do, but we'll have to see. That is another great storyline as well.
Yeah. And for sure, and I'll wrap this up here. You gotta go back a little bit. Let's go to the preseason. I have the predictions written down from yours truly, Will Schneiderhan, and myself when we did this back in March. And there have been some hits and some misses here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy season,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah. To go back here, division wise, Will took the Blue Jays to win the American League East. You and I took the Yankees. One of them is getting the playoffs, one of them is not. I think that's the way we can look at it right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we clearly diss Tampa too much. We have to stop disrespecting the Rays.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I should learn this lesson by now, since being a Yankee fan my entire life is you never count the Rays out, especially, in the past 10 or so years. But I don't know. I just, I know we definitely talked about it in that when we made these picks, that, we thought the Rays just lost too much. But apparently they didn't. They just rebuild.
Yeah, okay, that's the AL East. AL Central, 3 for 3 on the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
So good job.
I mean, that was kind of pretty much I don't want to say a wash fully, but it was
probably one of the easiest ones on the board.
Yeah.
The AL West, we did not nail that one.
No.
We not one, not two, but 3 picks of the Los Angeles Angels.
Yeah.
I get the have Mike Trout since May, but even if he's healthy, I don't think that team's going anywhere.
No, it's just there were so many, factors heading into those picks too. And I'm pretty sure we definitely, all 3 of us, talked about them and alluded to them, but it would have been such a nice thing to see, to see them win that division. And who would have thought that the Astros would be what they are, given everything, losing, everybody, Springer, all that stuff.
Yeah, lost Springer, no Verlander this year. Speak of, they've just been dominant. So good job on them. AL wild cards. Will had the Yankees and the Twins. You had Toronto and the Twins. I had Toronto and the Twins. The Twins really let us all down.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. I thought the Twins were definitely going to be in make a wild card position this year, building off of last year and even the year before that. They've always been a solid, team that's just looking for the next piece or two just to get over the hump and then, to get even further and deeper into the playoffs. And this year, just injuries, just things just got riddled and they just didn't perform the way they were supposed to.
Yeah, in terms of the NL, we had the same 5 playoff teams, all of us. So to recap here, the East will have the Braves winning, which is correct. We had the Mets, which did not work out well for us, apart from the 3 months they actually held first.
Yeah, that's it's funny. I kept bragging on my girlfriend because she's a Mets fan. I'm like, there's that fabled Mets collapse right around June.
Yeah, except it came in August.
Yeah, they made it to August this time.
Yeah, they were a disaster. We all had the Cardinals winning the Central. The devil magic got on the wild card, so we got at least saved a little face there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, because to speak back on my point I was saying before, it's just with that, not even seeing them play yet, just looking at that lineup, what they have, it's kind of hard not to pick them. And then I know we've definitely touched base on it all throughout the season, saying, how are they performing like this?
Yeah.
And probably won't make the playoffs, but now they will make the playoffs.
Yeah, and they're the hottest team in the league.
Oh, without a doubt.
And the crazy thing is, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks from recording, they came to New York. They were 73 and 69. They were 3 up on the Mets. Since the Mets have gone 1-11, the Cardinals have not lost the game.
Well, I mean, if you want to get hot, just play the Mets.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't lost since.
If it works, it works, right?
Yeah. The NL West, we all have the Dodgers. That could still happen.
Yeah, it definitely could happen. I mean, not one of us saw the Giants.
Oh, no.
I don't think anybody saw the Giants doing this.
No.
I mean, looking back at March when we first made these picks, it was the clear favorite that the Dodgers were gonna win.
Yeah.
But now, of course, as the season's playing out, they're still a playoff team. It's just whether they win the division or not.
Yeah, and we all have the Padres making the playoffs, and obviously that collapse might have been. It's been not as gotten much heat as the Met collapse has, but they've been just as brutal.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest disappointment the entire season is the Padres. Because I remember for myself, I was struggling. I really wanted to say that they could have been a World Series contender, if not World Series winner. They really, it's a collapse is what it is, to say the least. But that's my biggest storyline, to where I think I'm most upset about, because they were a fun team to watch in the beginning. I mean, they're still going to be a fun team to watch, next season. But it was very underwhelming.
They ran out of pitching.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and Jace Tingler is gone. I'm convinced of that too. They're not going to waste all that talent.
No, I mean, they're going to be around for the next at least 3 years. So next year, they add what they need. You build up that rotation, build up that bullpen a little bit. Because they have the offense. I mean, they have one of the best, if not the best, young player in Fernando Tatis Jr. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And, I just wish, for this year, because baseball always gets amplified in the playoffs. They would have been such a fun young team to watch in the playoffs who could have honestly could have gone the distance,
Yeah. All right. Also, go visit the MVP conversations here. We all took Mike Trout in the American League. If he doesn't get hurt May 17th, it might be a conversation, but it's going to be Ohtani or Guerrero, no matter which way the voters feel.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to say Ohtani, I think, just because the sheer fact that he's a two-way player.
Yeah.
I would think if Ohtani was just an outfielder or a DH.
Yeah.
I think it's Vlad Jr.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite fully sold on the Ohtani train. I mean, don't get me wrong, he is an amazing player to watch, but I think it's just a matter of time before, he can keep doing this. And we're already seeing that, he's starting to slip just a little bit. So let's see if, heading into the offseason, he can make, those adjustments, stop laying off pitches low and away like he's been doing. And, like I said, he's a phenomenal player. I'm not diminishing his talent or his ability at all. It's just, I think in a sense he's a tad overhyped, and that's just simply for the fact that he's a two-way player.
Yeah. Yeah. AL MVP, you're probably the closest of the three of us here. We'll let Ronald Acuna, he got hurt, brutal injury, will miss part of next year too. I was the dope who said Francisco Lindor with the MVP. That worked out brilliantly for me. You have Fernando Tatis, who I'd say about 50-50 of Bryce Harper win that award.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce has had a pretty under the radar type year, because I think it's just because more so the Phillies really, other than that push they had, I want to say it was early September, late August, when they were really starting to take when the Mets finally lost that lead in the division. The Phillies overtook them. Yeah,
it was early August.
Yeah, okay, early August. So yeah, when the Phillies were making that push and everything, and it was really the only time you really heard about them, and even Bryce Harper, because if you're not really paying attention to baseball or the Phillies in general, you really wouldn't know that Bryce is having a phenomenal year.
Yeah. So as you can see how that race files out. AL Cy Young, Will took Lucas Giolito. I took Garrett Hole. We have about 50-50 chance of getting that. I think it's down to him or Robbie Ray.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either or, in all honesty. I mean, as a Yankee fan, I'm going to obviously say, I'm going to try not to be the Yankee homer and say, oh, give it to Garrett Cole, but you really can't go wrong either way.
Yeah, I'm just worried for my pick there. I think the stink bomb against the Indians a week ago might have hurt him really badly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cy Young, we were unanimous Jacob deGrom. We would have been right if he actually pitched the rest of the way, but him getting hurt ruined that.
Yeah, that's literally what it was. And the fact that his numbers would still hold right now, even if he still was, even if he didn't get hurt, just looking at his numbers now, you could still possibly make a case that, if he played a majority of the season or, at least half, he could make a case that he could win Cy Young just because his numbers were that phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, but it was a sad thing. I definitely wanted to see if he could finish the year with a sub-2 ERA.
Yeah.
And everything like that. But hopefully, he comes back next year. He's able to play a full season. And I really wouldn't be surprised. If he's healthy. I mean, it's always if he's healthy, but he's got. Is it definitely shoulder or is it now elbow? Or
It
has
was,
it been
it was elbow. They're trying to get him back to pitch in the last weekend this year for some dumb reason, but I just want him to be healthy next year. That's all I care about. I don't care about him against the Braves this weekend.
I don't think I wouldn't
Yep.
throw him at all the rest of the
Yeah.
season. I mean, if you could make a case if they were fighting for a playoff spot,
They're done.
But they're done.
Yeah. All right. And the last thing, World Series picks. You and Will both had Dodgers over White Sox. That's still in play.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to change it, but I'm really curious to see if the Dodgers get into this 1-game playoff.
Yeah. Yeah. I bought the Mets hype because the Mets over the White Sox. Obviously, that's not happening, but that's what you do. I had 2 years ago I got it right and had the winner right both times. So the run had to end sometime.
Yeah, hey, you can you gotta all good things must come to an end, as cliche as that is, but it's just, it's the way it is.
Absolutely, Anthony. Thanks for all the time. I really appreciate it. Before I let you go, people follow social media, keep out some of the stuff you're up to.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Sorbellini Photos. And yeah, continuing freelancing, just finished my contract with the Yankees High A affiliate, the Renegades. Quick little shout out to them. It was a great first season, and made a lot of great images, got to see a lot of amazing prospects. The now #1 Yankees prospect, Anthony Volpe. Great, phenomenal, amazing player, just a great guy all around too. And yeah, just still shooting Iona. I go down there on Wednesday, and then I'm also shooting for my alma mater at SUNY New Paltz.
All right, check all that out. Anthony, thanks all the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.